Good morning, everybody. We are going to start on time here, and really appreciate you being here. Expecting other folks will drift in. We had planned on being virtual in January before the recent COVID spike, just based on I wasn't sure how winter was going to be. Winter has been pretty mild. COVID has not been as mild. So we're glad to have you here. We are going to evaluate what we do for in-person in March and in May. Right now, I just want to take a second to welcome you all here, to thank you for being here, and to continue to point out that we have an attendance link in the chat. That brief survey there asks for your name, your organization, your email address. Wait, I might have left email off of it. It might be just your name, organization, and role. But then we definitely did want to know what is an urgent need that you are seeing right now, and looking ahead, what's an important need, and then are there any particular trainings that you think would be beneficial? So take your time and fill that out. You can also, if you think of something later, I wanted to invite you to complete that a second time. That link will be, just scroll back up in chat. If something comes to mind, feel free to enter that in. One of the things we will mention briefly again is that we're continuing strategic planning. My thought was that in October, I think like many of us, when we got together in that large group setting, I was hoping that we were in a space that we could really start to aim towards recovery and start to think, okay, in a recovery-centric partnership, what does it look like? What are the needs? We find ourselves still deeply in pandemic management and in day-to-day COVID mitigation, and working in many cases, I know speaking for schools, just to keep the doors open. I think there was some optimism that maybe with the vaccinations and maybe with a certain level of experience with managing the virus, we would be in a period headed towards recovery. Looks like we are going to circle the runway at least one more time before we come in for a landing on that one. So that said, we want to just continue to evaluate what are the circumstances, and track that progression of need and be responsive to that progression of need. So this survey is just, again, a quick way for us to check and see what is it that you are seeing, what is it that you are hearing, and we'll go ahead and progress through the agenda. We're there. A reminder, March 9th, 9 a.m., May 11th, 9 a.m., and August 3rd, and October, I think that should be 12th. I can see the 2 in there. Apparently, when I deleted something, I deleted the T, not the 3. Close. It's October 12th, the Wednesday in October. Those are the partnership meetings for 2022. Okay, those are the partnership meetings for 2022. And March 9th and May 11th may be in person. If they are in person, they will not be at the BOCES Conference Center because that room is already reserved. General information for that, basically, there are professional development offerings at BOCES. Because of COVID regulations and stipulations, trainings that could typically happen in their rooms that are set up for 50 need to be instead, they need to use the diamond room, which is the room for a couple hundred folks, and that makes that room unavailable to us. We've looked at the Palmyra VFW and a couple of other venues, Lions Community Center, so pay attention. If we are able to meet in person, they will not be our typical conference center location. If we meet in person in August, I would like it to be somewhere outside and with food. But we will see how that develops. It'd be nice to be able to really pull folks together. So those are the dates, always 9 a.m. And we will take a quick look here at the agenda, which was sent out. We got some updates for you. David will have a few more updates. We're going to go over a community schools resource map draft. I want to emphasize the word draft on that. Really looking to looking to have that ready in March to be accessible on a website. I don't want you at all to necessarily think here's the finish. Not that there's not useful information in it, and welcome to use it at your desk, but we're really not publishing that widely until we get a few more wrinkles out of it, which will be reviewed together today. We are also taking time. What you spend time on indicates what you think is important. I believe, many of us believe, that restorative practices, that community circles are important, and that they're a common strategy that we can use in various settings. Dr. Hennessy Lustica is going to go over a little bit of the use and implications of that strategy, and we're going to practice. We're going to spend time connecting for a couple of reasons. One, I think that's something we continually need as a chance to connect. And two, because I'm hoping that more and more we can integrate that practice into our day-to-day. I want to also pause and just issue an announcement and if anyone knows folks at the Florence M. Muller Foundation, we're thankful to them, and we are excited to be able to expand our delivery of mental health first aid. Mental health first aid is an initiative of Wayne County Department of Mental Health. They have really maintained the energy and emphasis and the partnership through Mel Frowell, through Margie Tabor, through the Wayne Wellness Coalition, have made the classes available rather ubiquitously. If anybody would like to be trained in mental health first aid, we can do that for you. I want to let you know that when David shares later the Wayne County Connection, that's where we can often have folks sign up for mental health first aid classes. The reminder, Margie Tabor is our new co-chair. Those of you that attended last time. I don't know, David, is there a way to pin Margie at the top so that people can we make sure that everybody sees who Margie is? And we're really glad to have Margie is just an absolute believer in collaboration. She practices what she preaches. She is 100% finding ways to work together, finding chances for people to navigate challenges together. And it is, a lot of people will give lip service to collaborative work. Margie will do the work, and we are so glad and grateful that she was willing to accept the challenge of working with me regularly. So everyone keep her in your thoughts and prayers, because she has more regular contact with me now, and that's a daily challenge. The Wayne County Coordinating Council is our advisory board. Members are listed there. There's more detail on the Wayne Partnership website. The Wayne County Coordinating Council started about the same time the partnership did, and really convenes executives, and they are people that we report to. It is not necessarily a hierarchical relationship, but it is a relationship based on mutualism, and we are just glad to have the Wayne County Coordinating Council as people that sometimes when we bump into policy, when we bump into budget challenges, these are folks that we can go to that really make it possible to navigate challenges related to policy, challenges related to long-term strategic needs. Here is it is info and lecture time a little bit. The partnership, it is so important for us that the partnership is real. Okay, this is not just a meeting that folks go to, but it is a place that people really belong. Agencies are required to send representatives to 3 out of 5 meetings a year. Doesn't mean the same person has to come to 3 meetings, but we need people at 3 out of 5 meetings a year to maintain membership. That requirement we waived in 2020 and 2021. We are bringing that back into play this year, feeling that with virtual meetings up and running and everybody doing, at least knowing how to manage the pandemic, that we can go ahead and get back to requiring that agencies attend 3 out of 5. We're asking you to designate at least 2 and no more than 4 representatives. If for some reason you feel like you need a 5th representative or 6th representative, we can talk through that and we can explain our rationale for keeping the representatives small. But we really need just 1 person from each agency at each meeting. If you are a larger agency, let me give an example of ARC Wayne, or let me give an example of Wayne County Action Program. And for some reason you think your Head Start folks need to be here at the same time as your family support folks or your work opportunity folks, and you really want people at the meeting either based on the agenda, certainly you're welcome. But what we really want is to make sure at least 1 person is there. And this is a new requirement that when we get the handbook updated and published and sent out for this year, I want to emphasize, we are really asking, like if I see Ted is on the bottom corner of my screen from Delphi. So Ted signed up for Delphi representative. And if we email and the partnership newsletter to Ted, we're counting on the fact that Ted's going to take the information in that newsletter, read through it, and forward pertinent information to his staff. Maybe just forward the whole newsletter. And certainly your staff could be encouraged to just sign up for the newsletter. But we're really counting on representatives to look out for each other. We are really counting on representatives to help each other develop their own initiatives. So for example, just to stick right with mental health first aid, if that's something that Mel Frowell and Margie Tabor are driving on, it would be really great if Jessica Bailey over at Roosevelt says, hey, we've got some parents that could use that. I wonder if I could reach out. How can the partnership create a place where we can help each other serve better, serve more efficiently, serve more? And that's what we're working on. We're doing most of that work in work groups. Margie Tabor's already led behavioral health through an evolution where it's now Wayne Wellness, really much more holistic, much more broad. They are doing a lot of spectacular work. We are changing our education work group to a community schools work group. And that is really based a lot on our October discussions. Our October discussions revealed that community attachment, separation from community, the ability of partners to work together in schools, the success we've seen when schools are service hubs really means that developing community schools is something that we can do as a partnership. So how does that work for schools? What we hope that means is that schools will come to the partnership to find resources that they need in their school buildings. A community school is not even a district, right? It's got to get right down to the building level so that the young people that are in the hallways and in the classrooms and in the cafeterias in that building, so that the parents and the families that are showing up to that building for open house and for concerts and for sporting events, so that the services are located in that physical plant, or that they're being promoted by the principal of that school or by the teacher leaders of that school, and really helping to integrate. When we looked at our education work group initiatives of improved attendance, of early childhood readiness, of career readiness, we looked at community schools goals, and there was so much overlap. So well, here, let's have the partnership feed into the work of community schools and really connect community schools to the partnership so that folks understand how this relates and how this connects. Okay, the family resource is now family and community resource, and they've already begun to update their thematic goals. And in March, we will review these work groups. We accomplish our work together in small group. These meetings are larger information sharing meetings. Please sign up for a work group. The leaders are listed on the website, and updates to the website will be ongoing. And the last thing that I want to go over, almost the last thing, is that we are also going to start to explore task groups. If you cannot attend a work group meeting regularly, okay, if you are not able to attend a work group meeting regularly, then you can still help sign up to run a task group. I don't know, like I say, if we've got our mental health poster group on the call today. I haven't seen all the participants, but just fantastic work at creating a monthly poster that's being distributed to the schools. It's being hung in bathrooms and probably other visible places in the school where information for young people that may be struggling is easily accessible. Something they can use a QR code to access on their phone, some additional information. But that is a task group that is just getting that work done every month. And it is not something you necessarily need to belong to the work group to do. Some task groups I want to point out that I'll be sending out invitations via the newsletter to join is strategic planning. We're going to do some family focus groups and youth focus groups. You may remember on October 13th, we said, hey, what questions do you have for families? We have those all typed up. What questions do you have from youth? So there will be a group, a task group that reviews the questions. Like when we say to young people, do you feel connected to community? One of the questions many folks had is, what do young people mean by the name community? When I say community, what does that mean to you? Okay, and we want to ask young people that. We also want to make sure that that resource map that we're going to start to take a look at today, or that resource guide and kit that we're going to start to take a look at today, is something that is that we can firmly stand behind and is a finished product. Right now, it's a solid draft. We are well underway, but we're going to need a task group with experts that really know the community to be able to navigate that. I want to remind you that while the Wayne County Partnership, I think, is really a phenomenal place to meet, there's other folks running other stuff, and these are listed on our website, and you are welcome, obviously, to connect anywhere. What we want to make sure we avoid, and what the partnership tries to make sure we avoid, is that we don't go from failing to collaborate in silo to failing to collaborate in collaborative groups. So we're trying to make sure that we stay connected with all of the other collaborative groups. For instance, the Wayne Health Improvement group, we did common messaging on a newsletter that Jill Harper got out just this past couple weeks. The Wayne Maximizing Out of School Time, stay in a regular connection with them. They plug into our family resource group. The Suicide Prevention Coalition, Suzanne Cathaldi often is able to attend our meetings. Not sure if she's here today, but Margie Tabor with Wayne Behavioral Health keeps us connected to what's going on there. So David stays connected to the food security group that meets, and we really are working to make sure that all the different collaborative groups where agencies gather, we're aware of how they're navigating and how they're sharing information, and we really are giving people the best chance to promote what your goals are. So you are leading, you are setting the agenda in your service sector, you are recognizing and meeting needs, and we are just trying to find any opportunity we can for collaboration to strengthen that offering of service to the community. Everything looking at the collaboration arch, which I didn't throw a logo in that time, but we'll review that again in March. David, it's your turn for updates.
All right, thank you, Jay. I'm going to try to keep this simple. Hold on. I thought I was ready. All right, I'm not going to do too detailed about our website. I believe that I've done this before. WaynePartnership.org is our website, and this is where we keep all of the information that we feel is important to you. If you think that there's something that is important that's not here, please let me know and we'll add it. If you see something that's here that you think is out of date, please send me the corrections. I think just in the last week or two since the new year, I've had 2 agencies reach out to me and tell me that their information needed to be updated, and that was done within hours. So a lot of places will put up a website and leave it until the next time they redo their website 2 or 3 years down the road. That is not the case with the partnership. We try to be as up to date with everything as we possibly can. So please consider this a valuable tool in your arsenal of information gathering. So the work groups information here has not been updated to reflect the changes that Jay said, but that will be done in this coming week. We have resources here for food resources. So the partnership is coordinating the Wayne County Food Link food distributions, and we have been doing so for about almost a year now, ever since DSS had to be pulled off for vaccination assistance. But if you want to find any information about food distributions or food resources in Wayne County, this is your place. We talk about the monthly food distributions, we talk about food pantries, we talk about other food related resources, and here's where you can volunteer to help out at a food distribution. We were doing them every Tuesday, every third Tuesday and Wednesday of each month, but based on the need that we've been seeing, we've gone to 3 times a month. So we are now doing every third Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, at least from January through June. And for the first 3 months of the year, we're trying to keep our volunteers out of as much weather as we can. So they're going to be all inside at the Lions shared transportation facility at 70 Clyde Road in Lyons. We've been there before. It's a popular location. So the next 9 distributions will be held there. And then in addition, Jay mentioned the Wayne County Connection. I want to remind you all that that is another valuable resource if you are looking to schedule a meeting or a class or a series of classes. Just reach out to me and we will get you put up on the website. So Jay mentioned virtual mental health first aid. This one happens to be full, so you can't sign up for it anymore. But if you signed up for this partnership meeting, you've been to the Wayne County Connection and you know how it works. We are willing and able to do that for you. The only thing we can't do is collect payment for you. So if you have an offering that has a fee involved, we can take your registrations, but then it will be up to you to contact the registrants to make the proper payment arrangements. And in addition to that, well, I can't get up to my bar because the other thing is there's a newsletter tab that will get to the newsletter. So if anybody wants to sign up to receive the newsletter or submit an article or some information for the newsletter, please go here. It's simple and easy. Subscribe or submit a story. And also our calendar is on our homepage that tells you all of our events, the newsletter when it comes out, our meetings, the workshop, the work group meetings will be on here also, food distribution. So anything that you need to know about the partnership is going to be found probably on our calendar also. So in addition to the newsletter, which we send out to anybody who wants to, anybody, so it's not just an agency. The public is allowed to and encouraged to sign up for the newsletter to find out what's going on in our communities. But we also maintain an internal partnership only email list. I'm trying to get that updated and as comprehensive as possible. Just so you know that if you signed up for this event and you are attending this event and you represent a partner for the partnership, you've automatically been added to that email list. So you should be receiving those emails from me. And I think that's about it. Jay, is there anything else you wanted me to cover?
Trying to find my mute button.
Yeah.
David, we did recently complete and you added to the website just a map of medical resources. Could you pull that up, please, and show that to
Yes.
folks?
Under resources, healthcare providers.
And if you can scroll back up to that map, I think that if you could imagine, like, say you live in Savannah, or say you live in Rose, I mean, we got some miles, especially for after hours stuff. So I think that that is a very good visual of some of what the need that we are trying to meet looks like, and the importance of really keeping in mind the challenge of the geographic scope of serving folks in a rural community. So I wanted to really thank again Jill Harper and her and the folks she wrangled together to get that done, and a thanks to Diana Page for doing some of the graphic work there, and that is something that we'll also keep updating. But if you are in a place where you're trying to figure out, gee, somebody needs a doctor or somebody needs a dentist, this is something that can be given to. Yeah, that's a great question, Elizabeth. Do we know whether these folks are accepting new patients or not? The short answer is no. I don't think we would be able to stay current enough on that. So everybody would have to just make a call to those locations, look up those locations and see. But what we can do is just help everybody know what locations there are. Now take a look also there, and keep in mind, of course, we can access resources in other counties. Monroe County is just on, the other side of the Ontario border over there and whatnot. But when you think about, if you've got to serve 93,000 people, that's a really good picture that illustrates that, yeah, our need for doctors is 4 times more significant than the rest of the state. Mental health providers, is up there pretty good too, as far as that's not on this list, but the need there is still significant when compared to the state. And that data is available on like QuickBooks or the Roberts Wood Johnson, the county public health rankings. But anyway, before I drift us too far, thanks for sharing that. Oh, great, Elizabeth, thanks. If there's any updates, can you email those to, if anybody sees something missing, absolutely, please email Jill Harper. Jill, can you put your email right into chat? We'll get corrections to Jill and any additions to Jill. We would absolutely, I would, for instance, love for there to be a dentist in North Rose that I didn't know about. We would be absolutely thrilled to know that we missed something, that there were more resources available. Those are the dates. Again, this PowerPoint will be available and they're always on the website. And if you want to volunteer, let me just hover there for just a second. That's a great picture of the warm, comfortable environment that we offer our food distribution volunteers in the winter. I mean, look at the puffball on Ellen Wayne's hat. Doesn't that just look super comfy? I mean, put a couple of hand warmers in your pockets and come on out, folks. I mean, this was April. What will volunteering in February look like? But seriously, it's a couple hours that you leave feeling really good about being able to have helped a lot of folks. And it's a good chance to see some of the need that we are trying to meet out here in Wayne County. All right, brings us to the community schools resource map, and we're doing pretty good. Only about 8 minutes behind schedule, and I think that we're going to change up a little bit the agenda from what I was getting from Margie. So I'm going to hand this over to Margie and to Jill.
Hi, good morning, everybody. So yeah, don't worry about those 8 minutes. We're going to shave that off, plus maybe another 8 minutes. So we revamped what Jill and I had planned today. So Jill and I were asked to work on the school community resource map that is currently in a draft form. And we didn't want to like overwhelm people and not come across like we don't know what we're doing. So we're gonna like take a couple steps back in those what do you call them, Jay? Task teams. I call them stat teams, short-term access or short-term action teams. So we're going to be looking at putting a group of people together to help with this resource guide. So I do get to work on this with the amazing Jill Harper. I don't know if anyone knows her, but she just is like the sweetest soul that I've ever met. So we're really grateful to do that. Jill, hop in if there's anything that you want to add or say. So the development of this resource guide is to really cover and check off a couple of things on a couple grants that were written into creating a resource guide. I have to tell you, when I first hear of a resource guide, the first thing that happens for me is I get a headache, because I've seen resource materials put together and the minute they're launched and published, they need to be updated. So we really, Jill and I in talking, really want to be mindful. How can we do this in a way that doesn't frustrate people, that it can be a document that is useful and effective? I think if we find the magic key, we're going to promote it and do podcasts and make some money off of it. And taking a step back, I just want to say the working with Jay and being able to do this work and the focus on collaboration, I really attribute to meditation, relaxation music, and the opportunity to breathe deeply before I speak. But I am a huge proponent of collaboration. I think that I've seen too often that we go and do our work in silos. We're repeating and overdoing what each other are doing. And if we can work smarter, we don't have to work as harder. So with that, so I covered, okay, so this is really to kind of fill in a couple things with the grants. We are in the early stages. We call this resource map 1.0, which I think is on the agenda, but actually it's still in draft form. We want to thank Emma Ibatson and Diana Page for their help in coordinating all the information and putting it into one rolling document as it currently is. But we also are aware that we want to make sure that we have the agencies covered that really need to be in there, the organizations, the schools, the contact people. And again, a process that this can be launched and distributed in a way that makes sense and doesn't have people 6 months down the road go, well, that was a waste of time, because that is the last thing I want my name attached to with anything. What am I looking at? I did do a PowerPoint, but we changed up what we were going to do. So I just did this because I think when we're looking at doing a resource map, it's really important to realize that everyone needs to play a part in this. So if this resource map is really going to be effective and efficient and thorough, that we have to have a lot of hands on deck helping us to make sure that it is the best that it can be at any given moment. So alone we can do little, but together we can do so much. And I have to say, in my 2 full years of fully working in Wayne County, I've been able to see how adopting that kind of mentality has really served this county in a way that I've not seen it in my 30 years of working in the human service social work field. So I think, we just need to keep coming together, pooling our resources. So the idea is that we will launch whatever we have by March. In the meantime, we're going to be asking anyone who has an interest in being a part of this, which could just be email updates, maybe an occasional Zoom call, or that we'd love to have your participation. Once we get to a certain point with this document, we're going to be sending it out. We're going to be wanting a contact name for each organization, school district, to be able to look at the numbers, the names, and making sure that they're updated and how they should be. Anyway, yeah, I can screen share. All right, I do want to show this one thing that we were going to do. Slideshow current. Okay. That's not going to work. Okay. Can you see that? This is the initial table of contents of what we're looking at. Can everyone see that? So these are the areas that we're really looking to cover in this resource map, which I think really speaks to how thorough it is. And it'll be a breakdown of each of the school districts and then the co-located services that are in the school, along with some other organizations and agencies. So with that, it's going to require us to really kind of be on top of what's going on, but come together as a team. So I'm gonna be putting our emails in the chat box. If anyone wants to be a part of this, like I said, even if it's just to be part of an email exchange, let us know. Our hope is that maybe that we'll get together in the next couple of weeks to start to take a look at where we're at. We're also going to need a contact person for each agency and school who, like I said before, can look over the data or the information and make sure that it's accurate. So I don't know, we may send out an email about that. Anyway, let me just put in, all right, Jill already put her contact information in. But I guess, maybe at this point, I just kind of like to open it up to see if anyone has any thoughts or comments. I think the other thing is that we want to make sure that we're not duplicating, like I said, as I'm repeating what I'm saying. Because, it's been brought to our attention, public health has the WHIP app that's out there. So I'm not sure how much that's being utilized by different places. So how can we really make this the most effective use as a resource? I don't know, Jill, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think you did a great job. I just, so previously I sat in the nurse's office for 20 years, and I know that the Green Angels resource guide was my Bible. I would use it daily. So, this is part of, like Margie said, meeting a goal for a grant, but it's something that we all strive to have an end result of being useful in the work that we do with our families. So I appreciate, Margie, you taking the lead on that. And again, just please consider being part of that task force if you can assist us. There's a lot of knowledge here. So if you could assist us, please email Margie or I, and we would love to partner with you.
Okay, I am going out and buying a lottery ticket today because we've already had 2 people express interest that they would like to be a part of this, where I'm thinking we're going to have to be like pulling teeth. But anyway,
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So we will keep you posted. This is the goal. Hopefully by March, we'll have something that can go up on the websites, and we'll see where we go from there. And again, I think the other thing just would be to keep the communication open. And if something isn't working, if people have feedback, please let us know, because that's the only way that this is really going to work. Oh, now we're up to 3 people. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. Okay, we'll be in touch. Look at that. We shaved off another. I think we were supposed to go. There's your 8
Thank you.
minutes back.
Look at that.
Plus another 8.
So we are bumping into a technical challenge here and looking for just a way to navigate this. So I'm just going to do this right in front of anybody, we're not going to try and chat and direct message behind. Somehow either on the update of Zoom or in the way that the meeting was set up, we don't have breakout room control for any of the hosts. So what I'm going to need is for folks that have agreed to host for folks that have agreed to be, I think the best way forward for me is that folks that agreed to be breakout room hosts would just create their own Zoom link, if you would, and we'll put them in chat and we'll try and distribute folks relatively evenly into separate breakout rooms. Otherwise, I'd have to close the meeting, open it all back up. And that's, I was coming into this morning and I told David, I just don't feel quite as prepared for, I am nervous that something isn't quite right. And it didn't dawn on me until I was trying to do the breakout rooms while David was sharing and while Hennessy was sharing. I thought, oh, maybe I don't have rights. None of us do. So I don't know, again, if it is a Zoom update or if it is just a setup and configuration challenge or whatever, but we can't do the breakout rooms in this large group. So what I'm going to ask is that while Hennessy presents the training, the brief training on community circles, that if I could ask everybody that was going to lead a room, or Joe, would you maybe mind stepping out and seeing if you can set up a Zoom that definitely has breakouts and then hopping back on and putting just one link in, and we could do that. That would be helpful. Maybe if I could ask, I know that you've got the restorative practices stuff. So if you could step off and take a shot and see if it's our account or see if it's the setup, that would be great. So we'll have an answer for you by the time Hennessy's done presenting. And just when we said that 2020 and 2021 were about flexibility, 2022 is too. So appreciate it. Thank you. Hennessy, are you ready?
I am ready. I was just going to say 2022 sucks already, but I probably shouldn't say that out loud. But we can all get in circles and talk about it. It'll be fine. It's all going to be fine. All right, I am going to share my screen. Whenever we're on the screen like this, I'm always like, I wish I could see you guys in person. When I was little, there was a show and I can't think of the name of it, but she held up her little mirror and she was like, I see Ted, I see Cindy, I see Jay. And that's how I feel right now. I see all you guys, all my friends on there. She never saw Hennessy because who names their kid Hennessy is my question. So I am going to share my screen. There's my email. Let's see. So Jay and Margie asked me to put together a little thing on restorative practices for this partnership meeting. And I know, like, if you think back to 2020, before all of this happened, 2 years ago when I got hired, one of the big pushes was really around restorative practices and circles. And a lot of districts were in a really good place. And then COVID happened. So throughout the last year, what we have learned from all the data that we've collected is that not only kids, but staff and adults, everybody is really, really craving connection and craving a way to be able to talk to each other about all of the things that have happened in the last 2 years. So our hope is to keep pushing on restorative practices. The circles are magic. We'll talk about that as we go through this, but this will be super, super brief. And then hopefully Joe will be back on and will help us get into our breakout rooms. So I'm going to show you a little video. Hopefully it opens. To bring in this equality where everybody has shared decision making. might make people feel uncomfortable, especially those with perceived power, right? It might make them feel a little uncomfortable. Circles invite us to speak from the heart and to deal with emotions. Emotions are hard. They're hard to talk about, especially the emotions I call the icky emotions, things like shame and fear and guilt, those types of things. But don't be confused, because circles are not therapy sessions. So emotions might come up, and in a circle, you learn how to kind of talk through those emotions, but we're not doing therapy in a circle. And then circles also ask us to prioritize building good relationships. And unfortunately, not everybody has the skills to build those good relationships. So circles might feel really hard, but they might be a place where people can practice that. So on the Finger Lakes website is our restorative practices toolkit. Please, please, please use it. This is really a tier 1, like getting circles off the ground toolkit. It's been shared through our region. It's been shared by NICET through the state, and it's been shared on the National Center for Supportive and Safe Learning nationally by the feds. So this is something that people are definitely looking into. So definitely look at it. And if you are in a place in your organization where you want to start with circles, everything is in there about how you can build those. So I hate the phrase new normal, because I don't even know where we are at this point, but 3 things that are really on the forefront and that we've learned through the research that we've collected through the last 2 years and everything that's out there is the one thing that's mitigating the trauma for kids that COVID has caused is this sense of attachment. So attachment to their families, attachment to their schools, attachment to each other. So a beautiful way to foster attachment is through circles. One thing that our interns, Margie and I have 24 amazing interns this year in 6 different school districts. And one thing that they did is they ran community squared, we call it, circles for kids that were remote last year and returning to school. So we really wanted an intervention for kids to feel attached to each other, because we know that that helps with trauma. The other thing is well-being of staff. Our staff are a hot mess, for lack of a better word. We're all kind of a hot mess right now, which is the new normal, but we need to talk about it. So talking through our feelings, processing what's happening, not feeling alone. Circles are a great place to do that. And then diversity, equity, inclusion. DEI work is in everything that we do through community schools. It's in everything that we do through our school districts. So a circle is a really great place to have conversations that might feel a little scary around race and ethnicity and gender with a trusted group of people. So please, please, please check out that toolkit. So today we are going to break into some circles and just talk to each other. So we have some awesome facilitators: Margie, Jill Harper, Dr. Joe Fanagrossi, Kim Stewart, Tammy Thiel, and Julia, and myself will be leading these. You'll notice that our facilitators come from both schools and community organizations. So again, just pushing on, this is something that we can use kind of all over the place. So just as a reminder for our virtual circle norms, the facilitators will go over the norms with you in your individual circles again, but just some things that come up in every circle. So we ask you to be present. We ask you to speak from your heart and listen with your heart. We ask you to speak with respect and also listen with respect. We know that everybody's in their own setting, but please, for this 20 minutes, try to remain in the circle with your camera on, if you could do that. Honor confidentiality. What's said in the circle stays in the circle. We're not going to leave circle and gossip with other people about what other people are going through. Everybody has the right to pass. You don't have to talk. Again, back to that slide where circles can be hard. You can just listen if that's what you need to do today. Respect the virtual talking prompt. If we were in a room together, we would have an actual talking stick of some sort, but your facilitators will let you know how they want the talking prompt to work in each of your rooms. And then again, just to know the circle length, about 20 minutes, circle flow, camera, and remain present. So Jay, where are we with the breakout rooms?
We are in a place where Joe's got a link. Joe, can you continue just to post that? And what I'll do is ask people to, if I could ask the facilitators to go ahead and move now to the new Zoom, and Joe, move over and make sure that's working. And somebody text me like, never mind, oh crap, if it's not. But try that. And those of you that are here, I just want to remind you again, looking to get together in March and in May, hopefully in person. I want to emphasize that we have used community circles in our staff meetings. Glad to have a facilitator drop in and assist you in running it if you would like to use this in one of your staff meetings. Glad to provide any additional support in integrating community circles into the work that you do out in the community. My vision and my hope is that one of these days I'm going to be driving past a basketball court or a playground, and I'm going to see a group of young people that have put themselves into circle to resolve a conflict, instead of just forming a circle and filming two people fighting. That's my goal and my vision. And by the way, that's not made up. That has happened in places. That has happened in places. When it becomes the community norm, when adults model it, right? And that's, I have to get a bit on the line and own that too. Like when it comes to like being uncomfortable in circle, not always, and don't have time for that and have a lot to do. Those are definitely phrases that I can grab right now. And I think that taking time to realize, right? If I could ask, if you know someone that's complained about teenagers and cell phones and inattentiveness, or if you are a person that's complained about that, so where do you suppose they could go to sit and learn to listen, to learn to attend, to learn to reflect on something someone else is saying? And one of our answers is circle. And we believe that that's a practice that's pretty straightforward. Sit in a circle, take turns. Everybody listens, everybody speaks or passes, depending on the nature of the way the circle is set up. And we just think something as simple as that, as complicated as our environment is, we need solutions that are simple and accessible. We have no more bandwidth for complicated. And circles are simple and circles are accessible. So really just ask people to model it, try it with your staff. And they don't have to be especially deep. They can really be something on like, if you were a superhero, what would your superpower be? Just really giving people a chance to speak and be heard is powerful. There's plenty of people that go through the whole day not feeling heard once. As we close out, I just want you to, again, really strongly encourage and invite you to bounce over. My apologies again for technical errors. That's completely on me. It's my responsibility to make sure that those things go well. They did not. I'll own that. And I do appreciate your flexibility and your willingness to change Zooms. So take a quick stretch break if you need it, and please come practice circle. And if you can't stay today and you want practice or you want integration into your setting, reach out. We can provide a training. We can connect to training providers. And if it's something you're interested in, please let us know. If you could scroll up, if you didn't sign in today, remember we asked about name, agency, role. We asked about what's an urgency you see, what's important looking ahead, any trainings you want. And that registration link, David just popped in there one more time. If you can copy and paste the Zoom link, David, I'm going to ask to the participants that you have, could you copy and paste Joe's link and send out an email right now with that other Zoom? And everybody else, if you want to try and copy and paste that and move Zooms, we're going to close up this one. I'll stay here and hold this room until everybody's gone. And I'm glad to take questions till folks are gone. We hope to be in person in March, likely in Palmyra or Lyons. Thank you all so much for your time. And I hope you can bounce over to the other room and sit in circle and connect with folks, other folks that are helping the community. Thank you.